Welcome back to the Mass Reader. Tonight you will see the rest of Group 2 and vote on who you want to move on to the next round.
Tonight's readers are ready to sink their teeth into the competition and claw their way to the top. We hope you enjoy their stories.
My favorite subject in school is social studies. My favorite picture book as a young kid was A Bargain for Francis. And I chose to be a snake because somebody in my family really loves to study snakes and reptiles. So I thought it would be cool to be a snake. And to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street by Dr. Seuss. When I leave home to walk to school, Dad always says to me, Marco, keep your eyelids up and see what you can see. When I tell him where I've been and what I think I've seen, he looks at me sternly, says, Your eyesight's much too keen. Stop telling such outlandish tales. Stop turning minnows into whales. Now, what can I say when I get home today? All the long way to school and all the way back, I've kept careful track. But all that I've noticed, except my own feet, was a horse and a wagon on Mulberry Street. That's nothing to tell of. That won't do, of course. Just a broken down wagon that's drawn by a horse. That can't be my story. That's only a start. I'll say that a zebra was pulling that cart, and that is a story that no one can beat when I say that I saw it on Mulberry Street. Yes, the zebra is fine, but I think it's a shame. Such a marvelous beast with a cart that's so tame. The story would be better to hear if the driver I saw was a charioteer, a golden blue chariot, something to meet, rumbling like thunder down Mulberry Street. No, it won't do at all. A zebra is too small. A reindeer is better. He's fast and he's fleet, and he'd look mighty smart on old Mulberry Street. Hold on a minute. There's something wrong. A reindeer hates the way it feels to pull a thing that runs on wheels. He'd be much happier instead if he could pull a fancy sled. A reindeer and sleigh. Say anyone could think of that. Jack or Fred or Joe or Nat. Say even Jane could think of that. But it isn't too late to make one little change. A sleigh and an elephant. There's something strange. A pickup with plenty of power and size. A blue one with plenty of fun in his eyes. And then just to give him a little more tone, have a Raja with rubies perched high on a throne. Say, that makes a story that no one can beat when I say that I saw it on Mulberry Street. But now I don't know. It still doesn't seem right. An elephant pulling a thing that's so light would whip it around in the air like a kite. But he'd look simply grand with a big brass band. A band that's so good should have someone to hear it, but it's going so fast, it's hard to keep near it. I'll put on a trailer. I know they won't mind if a man sits and listens while hitched on behind. But now, is it fair? Is it fair what I've done? I'll bet those wagons weigh more than a ton. That's really too heavy a load for one beast. I'll give him some helpers. He needs two at least. But now what worries me is this. Mulberry Street runs into Bliss. Unless there's something I can fix up, there'll be an awful traffic mix up. It takes police to do the trick, to guide them through where traffic's thick. It takes police to do the trick. They'll never crash now. They'll race at top speed with Sergeant Mulvaney himself in the lead. The mayor is there and he thinks it is grand and he raises his hat as they dash by the stand. The mayor is there and the aldermen too, all waving big banners of red, white, and blue. And that is a story that no one can beat when I say that I saw it on Mulberry Street. With a roar of its motor, an airplane appears and dumps out confetti while everyone cheers. And that makes a story that's really not bad, but it still could be better. Suppose that I add a Chinese boy who eats with sticks, a big magician doing tricks, a 10-foot beard that needs a comb, no time for more. I am almost home. I swung round the corner and dashed through the gate. I ran up the steps and I felt simply great, for I had a story that no one could beat. And to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street. But Dad said quite calmly, just draw up your stool and tell me the sights of one on the way home from school. There was so much to tell, I just couldn't begin. Dad looked at me sharply and pulled at his chin. He frowned at me sternly from there in his seat. Was there nothing to look at? No people to greet? Did nothing excite you or make your heart beat? Nothing, I said, growing red as a beet, but a plain horse and wagon on Mulberry Street. I hope you enjoyed the story, boys and girls. Keep on reading. We miss you all.
Hi, everyone. Here's a little background info about your friend Sharky. My favorite subject in school was math because it helped me count all 300 of my teeth. As a kid, my favorite picture book was One Fish, Two Fish by Dr. Seuss because it reminded me of my favorite snack. Sharky didn't choose the shark life. The shark life chose Sharky. Hi, everyone. Sharky here, and I'm going to read to you The Kissing Hand by Audrey Penn. To Stephanie, Rebecca, Corinne, and children everywhere who love to be loved. Chester Raccoon stood at the edge of the forest and cried. I don't want to go to school, he told his mother. I want to stay home with you. I want to play with my friends and play with my toys and read my books and swing on my swing. Please, may I stay home with you? Mrs. Raccoon took Chester by the hand and nuzzled him on the ear. Sometimes we all have to do things we don't want to do, she told him gently, even if they seem strange and scary at first. But you will love school once you start. You'll make new friends and play with new toys, read new books, and swing on new swings. Besides, she added, I know a wonderful secret that will make your nights at school seem as warm and cozy as your days at home. Chester wiped away his tears and looked interested. A secret? What kind of secret? A very old secret, said Mrs. Raccoon. I learned it from my mother, and she learned it from hers. It's called the kissing hand. The kissing hand? Asked Chester. What's that? I'll show you. Mrs. Raccoon took Chester's left hand and spread open his tiny fingers into a fan. Leaning forward, she kissed Chester right in the middle of his palm. Chester felt his mother's kiss rush from his hand, up his arm, and into his heart. Even his silky black mask tingled with a special warmth. Mrs. Raccoon smiled. Now, she told Chester, whenever you feel lonely and need a little loving from home, just press your hand to your cheek and think, Mommy loves you. Mommy loves you. And that very kiss will jump to your face and fill you with toasty, warm thoughts. She took Chester's hand and carefully wrapped his fingers around the kiss. Now do be careful not to lose it, she teased him, but don't worry. When you open your hand and wash your food, I promise the kiss will stick. Chester loved his kissing hand. Now he knew his mother's love would go with him wherever he went, even to school. That night, Chester stood in front of his school and looked thoughtful. Suddenly, he turned to his mother and grinned. "Give me your hand," he told her. Chester took his mother's hand in his own and unfolded her large, familiar fingers into a fan. Next, he leaned forward and kissed the center of her hand. "Now you have a kissing hand too," he told her, and with a gentle goodbye and "I love you," Chester turned and danced away. Mrs. Raccoon watched Chester scamper across a tree limb and enter school, and as the hoot owl rang in the new school year, she pressed her left hand to her cheek and smiled. The warmth of Chester's kiss filled her heart with special words. "Chester loves you," it sang. "Chester loves you." The end. I hope you guys liked the book.
Crocodile here. A little bit about myself. My favorite subject in school was lunch. But I guess that's not a subject. I did love to read. My favorite books were Clifford the Big Red Dog, and I'm a crocodile because it's one of the main characters in the story I'm going to read to you. I'm also hoping to chomp my way to the top of this competition. I'll be reading Shiver Me Letters, The Pirates ABC, written by June Sobel and illustrated by Henry Cole. "Arr," cried the captain, "arr's not enough. We need other letters to help make us tough. Let's sail far away to find ABCs. Bring me back D's, E's, F's, and some G's." "Arr," cried the crew, "arr, we agree. Let's find us an A, a B, and a C." They set up their sails and followed the wind. Spying an island, they toothlessly grinned. "Land ho!" yelled the pirates as they rowed to the west. "Capture those letters. Let's make it our quest." Splash went the anchor into an A. A B floated by on a crystal clear bay. In the sand sat a cannonball carved with a C. They dug for doubloons and scooped up a D. E escaped down from one pirate's pierced ear. His mate raised a flag and found F. Give a cheer. In a chest glistened G, all shiny and gold. Each hung from the hook on a pirate of old. 10 paces north stood a huge ivory eye. From out of the jungle, J jumped sky high. A K on a key slid under a shell. Far from the water, hid landlubber L. A mysterious map with an M soon appeared, while one nimble N popped right out of a beard. They soon spotted O rolling into the ocean. A parrot squawked, "Pee! What a commotion!" The gang questioned Q as it quacked in its nest. "Arr!" cried the crew. "Arr! When do we rest?" "Aye," moaned the captain, "you slothful old bunch. Find the next letter or go without lunch." They saw S in the shape of a swashbuckling sword. They found T on a turtle as they hauled him aboard. The crew drove underwater, caught U in a net. They viewed V veiled in velvet, all soaking wet. A wave washed up W, sunburned and hot. Pirates explored to find X marked the spot. "I spy a Y," yelled a shipmate, "let's go." "Y, we've captured our letters. Yo ho ho." "Arr!" cried the crew. They went to the captain, expecting a thanks. They showed him the letters, he showed them the planks. "Arr!" roared the captain, "you'll walk these for me. Be off with you, mates. Go rob me a Z." "Arr!" cried the crew, "our work is not done. We'll search and we'll plunder till we find the last one." And that very night, as they snored in their beds, zillions of Z's zoomed all over their heads. The end. I hope you enjoyed the story, boys and girls. I enjoyed reading it to you. Wonder if you'll guess who I am.
I love to read, so it may not come as a surprise to you that my favorite subject in school was reading. As a child, my favorite book was Cinderella. I chose to be a cat because cats are curious. They are always ready to learn something new. If You Give a Cat a Cupcake, written by Laura Numeroff. If you give a cat a cupcake, he'll ask for some sprinkles to go with it. When you give him the sprinkles, he might spill some on the floor. Cleaning up will make him hot, so you'll give him a bathing suit and take him to the beach. He'll want to go in the water and build a sandcastle too. Then he'll look for seashells. He'll find a few other things as well. He'll put them in his pail and try to pick it up, but it'll be too heavy. He'll decide he needs to work out at the gym. First, he'll warm up on the treadmill, then he'll lift a weight or two. He might even try a karate class. After the gym, he'll want to go to the park. When you get there, he'll see the rocks. He'll climb up as high as he can go. At the top, he'll see the lake. He'll want you to take him rowing. He'll be the captain, and you'll have to row. Then he'll notice the merry-go-round and want to go for a ride. He'll want you to go for a ride too. You'll choose the horse with the purple mane, and he'll get on the whale. The whale will remind him of the Science Museum. He'll ask you to take him there. First, he'll find the dinosaurs. Then, he'll visit the Hall of Apes. When the museum closes, you'll be the last to leave. On the way home, you'll pass by the beach. You'll help him gather all of his things. Then he'll want to race you. When you get home, he'll empty the sand from his shoes. He might spill some on the floor. Seeing the sand on the floor will remind him of the sprinkles. He'll probably ask you for some. And chances are, if you give him some sprinkles, he'll want a cupcake to go with them.
Now we need your help. Please vote for your favorite reader. You will have until Thursday to cast your vote. On Friday, we will unmask the 4 readers with the least amount of votes. The rest will move on to the next round.